Hi, everyone. Have you ever wondered what can truly soften a heart that has been through so much pain? Is it a grand declaration of love? Or something powerful enough to erase every sad day? Maybe not. Sometimes, what makes a heart grow gentle again is simply an ordinary morning. When someone patiently stands beside you and teaches you the small things life never gave you the chance to learn before. No rushing, no blame, just quietly being there, like a warm support in the middle of old hesitations. Morning came to the small town. In a thin wash of sunlight, light spilled across the front yard, making the damp bricks shimmer softly. The breeze moved through the fence and brushed the flowers by the porch. Everything was so quiet. It felt as if even breathing had slowed down. Tu Tien stood under the porch, looking at the cream-colored electric bike in the yard. It was small, neat, and shining in the morning light, as if it belonged to a different world. It was not strange to other people, but to her, it made her heart sink a little. Not because she was not smart enough to learn, but because she was so used to the smell of soil, vegetables, and early mornings bent over in the garden. Modern things, buttons, glowing screens, all of it had long made her feel like she was standing outside a different rhythm of life. Jack stepped out of the house as the sun rose a little higher. He did not say much. He simply stood near her and looked where she was looking. His presence felt strangely calm, like a quiet space wide enough for her uneasiness to breathe. He wheeled the bike into the middle of the yard. The tires rolled softly across the bricks. Tu Tien followed behind, every step full of hesitation. When her hand touched the handlebar, her fingers tightened slightly. That first touch felt cold and unfamiliar, and it made her nervous, as if she were reaching for something that had never really belonged to her. Jack stood behind her and guided her little by little. His pace was very slow, as if he wanted to use his patience to ease the fear hidden in her thin shoulders. Every time the bike tilted a little, his hand was there to steady it, just enough for her to understand that if she lost balance, someone would still be there behind her. Maybe what people fear most is not learning something new, but looking clumsy in front of someone else. Tu Tien had lived with that feeling for a very long time. That was why the simple feeling of a quiet hand steadying her from behind was enough to make something tremble softly inside her. The lesson started in the yard, then moved out to the small road in front of the house. The road lay quietly in the morning sun, with neat houses on both sides, and low trees trembling in the breeze. Tu Tien sat on the bike stiffly, her back straight, her shoulders slightly tense, her eyes fixed ahead. The bike moved forward, in short little stretches. At first, only a few meters. Very slowly, very cautiously. But for Tu Tien, it was more than a short distance in front of the house. It was a distance through her own fear. Jack stayed beside her the whole time. Whenever she wobbled, he caught her. Whenever she froze, his calmness softened her panic. Then, little by little, the bike went farther. The wind touched her hair. Sunlight brushed across her face, still tense, but no longer as stiff as before. And in her eyes, a tiny light appeared, like the feeling of someone finally daring to believe, maybe I can do this. Near noon, they went back inside. Sunlight by the window spread across the wooden table, in a warm golden layer. Jack set a laptop down on it. If the bike was her awkwardness out on the open road, then the laptop was another kind of challenge. Quieter and deeper. The letters on the keyboard, the cold glow of the screen, all of it made her feel as though she were standing in front of a door that had never opened for her. Jack opened it slowly. Pale blue light fell across her face, making all her hesitation show more clearly. He showed her one small thing at a time, still with the same calm rhythm from the morning, as if he understood that what she needed most was not speed, but peace while learning. Tu Tien tried to type her name. Fingers used to hard work now touched the small keys awkwardly. The letters came out wrong. She deleted them, tried again, wrong again. It was such a small thing, yet enough to make her eyes lower. Not because her name was hard to type, but because it made her feel slower than even the most ordinary things. Jack stayed beside her, never laughing, never rushing her. He only pointed to the keys again and let her try once more. That quiet patience softened something inside her. Because sometimes, what truly makes a person feel loved is not comfort spoken out loud, but the way someone respects both their weakness and their slowness. Tu Tien tried again. This time she was slower, more careful. Her name appeared more neatly on the screen. It was only a small thing, but that moment stirred a feeling inside her that was hard to name, as if a door, long closed, had opened just enough to let in a little light. Afternoon came slowly, over the garden behind the house. The air smelled of warm soil, young leaves, and vegetable beds still holding the day's sun. The moment she stepped into the garden, Tu Tien felt herself soften again. If the morning had been the time she stepped into Jack's world, with all her uncertainty, then the afternoon was when he followed her back, into the life she knew best. She crouched by the vegetable rows, loosening the top layer of soil with her hand, checking leaf color to see what the plants needed. Jack stood beside her and followed what she showed him. Hands used to paperwork and construction now touched soil, leaves, and things soft and fragile. And somehow, that scene felt deeply warm, because beautiful love is not pulling someone into your world. It is both people being willing to step into each other's world, slowly and sincerely. The afternoon breeze moved through the small garden, making the leaves tremble. The last sunlight fell across their shoulders, stretching their shadows over the ground. Jack watched Tu Tien lean down to fix a bent leaf, and something deep rose quietly in his chest. Maybe what made him love her most was never just how clumsy she had looked that morning, but the thought that she should have had days this gentle a long time ago. But the past could not be changed. The only thing he could do was make sure that from this moment on, she would not have to face every new thing alone anymore. Dusk slowly settled over the town. Golden light covered the porch, the road, the bike in the yard, the laptop on the wooden table, and the garden behind the house before fading into purple, into... Jack still did not say much, but sometimes the deepest things are never in words. They are in the way he slowed down to match her pace, the way he stood behind her when her hands trembled on that first ride, the way he sat beside her while she typed and retyped a name that should have been simple, the way he let her clumsiness exist without ever turning it into something shameful. And maybe behind that first ride, what he truly wanted to give her was not just a new skill, but the feeling of safety when stepping into a world she did not know yet. The belief that she could be slow, make mistakes, hesitate, and still be loved. In the end, the most beautiful thing about that day was not how far Tu Tien rode, and not that she finally typed her name neatly on the screen. It was that on one very ordinary day, full of sunlight and soft wind, she began to believe that she deserved to be gently led through the unfamiliar parts of life. And sometimes that is exactly what a person remembers forever.